a snap.
Hey, yo.
That's, first of all, I got no idea what he's thinking.
Jalen Carter, bro, you got rage baited so hard. And, like, let's be honest, guys, that was probably going to be an amazing game, but, you know, the weather delay. Anyway, though, you guys all know why you're here. Let's roll the highlights.
Eagles fans around the world, please welcome the man who has led Philadelphia to extraordinary success.
And Dak gives to Williams, left side, into the end zone for the season's first touchdown. 3rd and goal. Hurts has time, takes off. Jalen Hurts, touchdown Philadelphia. Turpin in motion, 2nd and 23. Prescott taking a shot towards Pickens on the sideline. Trying to come up with a one-hand grab. And Prescott gives to Williams inside for the touchdown. Hurts has all kinds of time. Escapes, runs, first down. Now chase, now taken off to the pylon. Got there! Jalen Hurts for the 2nd time tonight. Sensational leg, good accuracy from 41 yards. And Brandon Aubrey knocks it through. And Hurts with time, now it's tapped downfield. And it is brought in by Jahan Dotson. The offensive coordinator. And they run Barkley inside. Saquon touchdown. Philadelphia. 53 Aubrey. One in warm-ups from 62 in this direction. This is 58. It's plenty long enough and good. Scott gives it. Miles Sanders running in open space. There goes Sanders at the 30. Chase to the 20. Bond brings him down at the 10. For Philadelphia from the 11-yard line. Sanders. Ball out. Picked up by Quinyon Mitchell. Prescott looking middle. Covered coming downfield for a win. CD couldn't hang on. And Prescott's lofting it. CD
Perfect.
couldn't bring that one in either. 3rd time in the half.
Oh, that's a tough catch. That's a very tough catch.
And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Fun NFL. Please like and subscribe if you guys enjoy the first NFL game recap. Because, of course, last night was the kickoff game. I'm sorry it's coming out later. I've been a little bit busy. But with that said, you saw the highlights. It was a pretty wild game. Pretty bizarre start. A lot of crazy things happened in this one. Anyway, though, I just got to preface this first. If you watched the Chiefs-Chargers preview, I'm sorry I didn't rank the entertainment. I'll do that right now. That's just me forgetting something. Anyway, though, I guess for this Chiefs-Chargers game, what are we going to put it in? Entertaining. Again, I think that's what it'll be. It's a good game, obviously. But, yeah, we're going to keep it there. Anyway, though, back to the actual game. Yeah. This game was crazy. I think there were a lot of things for both teams you can take away with, but again, it just being the kickoff game, again, you can't really take too much out of it. But anyway, guys, again, I think that Jerry Jones' comments were very, I think, I wouldn't say genuine, but very, like, realistic, to be honest with you guys. I think those, I really actually liked what he said. Again, I'm not trying to, like, feed into this, but again, we look at the fact that, again, Micah Parsons got traded, was just absolutely asinine trade. It just tells you how much Jerry Jones just doesn't really seem to care about the Cowboys winning football games and more of it being a circus. But him actually just saying that made it sound like, I don't know, maybe there's something there. It obviously isn't, but I'll say that. Like, his quotes were, at least you could definitely respect those. With that said, though, the game itself, again, it was a pretty fun first half. Both offenses were moving the football pretty well. Being in the offense, the second half was, again, kind of Jekyll and Hyde, completely opposite. Cowboys got shut out to start out with. The Eagles only scored 3 points second half. Again, there wasn't a point scored after, like, was it halfway through the third quarter? Again, there was a weather delay as well. That's part of the reason this happened. And again, after that, kind of was just no juice. I'm be honest, because I didn't watch most of the rest of the end of the game live, but again, I watched all the film today, so we got that done. Anyway, though, Cowboys lose the opener. Cool. They got the Giants at home next week. Eagles, they got the Chiefs on the road next week in Kansas City for all the country to see. But with that said, Eagles open up their Super Bowl run with a win. I think, what are they? They're 21-5, I think, if I'm not mistaken. That's the stat I got for this one, or like 20. It might not be that good, but for opening games. With that said, though, Dak, again, other than the fact that Javonte freaking Williams sharked 2 touchdowns for my fantasy team, Dak, I think, looked really good. He had absolutely phenomenal pocket mobility and pocket presence. That was probably the biggest thing I noticed because, again, last year for parts of the games, he just completely just fell apart in the pocket. Again, especially muddy ones. But, again, he did a great job scrambling. Again, there were some reads he didn't make that were great. But, again, a lot of his throws were on target. And, again, I like the fact that he tried to keep going to CeeDee Lamb because CeeDee Lamb was honestly in open spots a lot of the times. But Dak, probably one of the better games that honestly ever seen out of him. Again, the numbers don't reflect that, but he played really freaking well. There might have been a player or two where he was off, but, again, overall, he was absolutely great. And I think again, a lot of people were like, "Oh, Dak's just he's Dak." That's just I don't think that's fair to say with him. Javonte Williams, I honestly don't know where to go with this, to be honest with you guys. He just didn't really look much different than we saw in Denver the past couple years. He's just not a very good running back. Again, we saw that, but I did like the fact he did at least try to run the football. Again, he had a couple decent runs, but outside of, again, one where he really popped off a tackle, didn't really see anything that I wasn't expecting to see. Did score 2 touchdowns, though. Again, like I said, sharked him from Dak. But Miles Sanders had one big run, and that's really all he did. He had a couple nice blocks. I don't know. He looks a little bit more explosive than he has been. Again, after a horrible 2023 last year as a backup with the Panthers. But overall, again, nothing really much different from him. But yeah, again, Miles Sanders is going to get those touches in the snaps, and he really didn't do too much outside of that one big run he had. And he also fumbled. So that's what I'll say there. Kamani Turbin didn't really do much. Dak, again, had that one carry. With that said, again, that was actually a really nice play. Again, you didn't see the highlights, but it was a nice play. All right, receiving. CeeDee Lamb, 7 catches, 110 yards, 13 targets. Again, there was a lot of commentary on the internet about how he played. He got open. He played against Quinyon Mitchell some of the game. I mean, him and George Pickens were really going at it. But he did a really good job, I think, overall in this game. Again, I understand he dropped 3 passes, which one of them was definitely inexcusable. But, guys, CeeDee Lamb is going to get targeted a lot. He's going to drop passes. Again, we all know that. But I really think he had a pretty solid game overall. I understand the fact, again, we all want to say, oh, he dropped those passes. They should, again. He definitely dropped the last one, I'll tell you that. And, again, the other one was pretty bad, too. But still, CeeDee's a guy that, again, he's still one of the best receivers in football. And I'm not too concerned about this game. George Pickens, very quiet debut. He almost probably would have got tossed if I think he was about to dislocate. Who was it? Quinyon's ankle on one of those throws to the end zone. That was very bizarre by him. But again, George Pickens didn't hurt the team. I'll say that. But honestly, I think he had a decent game overall as well. Again, the numbers don't reflect that, but I think he had a decent game. Jake Ferguson, checked down merchant in this one. I guess he didn't really block well either. From what I saw, I didn't get to watch too many of his reps as a run blocker, but it didn't look great. Kamani Turbin did absolutely nothing. Javonte Williams, again, had a couple nice plays there in the receiving game. Jalen Tolbert was nowhere to be seen, but he really didn't get that many routes. Where he was actually a primary read. And then Brevin Spanford and Luke Schoonmaker were just out there to block it, and Miles Sanders, just kind of got blown up on the screen. With that said, Cowboys offense takeaways. Again, Dak played super well, but I need to see more out of this running game. Again, we all know that it's not good in the first place, but it's got to be better. I think the O-line is part of that as well. And in these receivers, specifically Jalen Tolbert, he's got to be able to get open better. And I think overall this offense, again, just looked a little bit spotty, but overall it wasn't a bad game at all. Again, I understand he got shut out in the second half, which is not good, but again, there's definitely worse games you've seen. Defensively, Malik Hooker was very good. He didn't miss any tackles. I don't think their coverage overall was absolutely phenomenal. I just think the fact they played a low block a lot of the game, which again, is kind of a soccer term, but that's really the best way to put it for this, really helped him out. Kenneth Murray was okay. Kyrie Elam, I mean, he was out there. I don't really know. Let's be honest, guys. The Eagles didn't really throw the ball much at all. They probably took like 2 or 3 actual legit throws downfield. No one really played bad on this defense. I'll be honest with you guys. I didn't really see any, again, there were some plays where I'm like, oh, that was a terrible, approach on control the gap. But outside of that, I mean, there really wasn't much to go off of here. Marshawn Nealon had a couple pressures. He looked like he has developed a little bit more of a toolbox, which is good. Osa and not Damone Clark. Kenny Clark did a really good job of closing down the interior that A and B gaps. Even you could say that for the B gaps. But overall, again, honestly, and I guess Brandon Aubrey was good. This defense, I don't really have too much to talk about. They looked decent. For the Eagles, Jalen Hurts didn't lose on the game through the year. He had one nice throw downfield to Jahan Dotson on a scripted play. But outside of that, there really wasn't much to go off in his passing. He was very conservative and didn't really take any chances in over the middle. Jalen Hurts is a runner, though. He'd be now I think, what is that, 16 games? I don't want to mess this up. With 2 or more rushing touchdowns since 2020. That's the most in the NFL. Next closest is Josh Allen with 12, so that's a pretty crazy stat for him. But again, it looked, again, first, he didn't have a single scrambling touchdown since 2023. So again, that was pretty good for him there as well. Saquon, not really notable debut, but from him, I mean, he had a touchdown. He had broke a couple tackles, but again, it wasn't really that crazy of a game. Again, the Cowboys did a good job against them there. And they didn't even play that many heavy fronts either. Will Shipley, I liked what I saw there, and A.J. Dillon also got 3 carries. Jahan Dotson, like I said, he had that long catch. Outside that, really wasn't getting open too consistently, though. Dallas Goedert, again, check down guy, but overall he was still pretty solid in this one. And Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, they didn't really get targeted much. Again, it was just kind of one of those games. That's going to happen, especially in a game that was more off rhythm than you might think, but it'll also be in the first game of the season. That's what you're going to see. Saquon, again, a couple, I think he had like 2 or 3 actual routes where he actually caught a pass. Outside of that, though, Zach Bond on defense, again, you look at that Miles Sanders run. It really wasn't his fault. I just don't think he kind of got baited over, to be honest, guys, because let's be honest, Zach Bond is the center of that run defense when Kobe Dean's not out there. And the fact that he kind of got moved off his spot there and into the C gap kind of hurt that, or not hurt, but put the Eagles in a disadvantageous, I don't think that's a word, situation. And again, he chased him down, but again, I think that was a little bit of a thing there. Anyway, though, Dory Jackson, Cooper DeJean, I think played pretty well. Quinton Mitchell, again, was a little bit susceptible in this one. Again, I don't think he had his best game. Aaron Makuba, I think got way too many snaps, but at the same time, he didn't look completely lost. Jacory Bennett wasn't terrible. Reed Blankenship, I guess, was okay. Didn't really break down too much of his game. Nolan Smith, I think, was decent. I think he had 2 or 3 pressures, if I'm not mistaken. J.Ox Hunt probably won maybe twice. He was decent enough against the run, though. Outside of that, though, same thing for this defense. They weren't overly bad or anything. I did like their physicality, though, in the second half. And the fact they really, in terms of yards of separation per route per receiver, again, that's a very advanced stat. I just got that statistic like 20 minutes ago. That one actually, that number checked out as well, especially in the second half. Jake Elliott, good job hitting a 58-yarder. I guess you're a good kicker now. I don't know. Team stats, Cowboys had more yardage. Makes sense. Again, the Eagles had 158 yards rushing, but I want to preface this. They didn't really run the ball too great. I think the Cowboys did do a good job with that. Just solid game overall from their defense. Anyway, though, nothing really notable outside of that. Again, the one fumble, I think that hurt the Cowboys as well. But really what this game got down to, again, was the fact that this wasn't a very fluid game by any means. There wasn't much rhythm to it. And, again, the fact that there were a lot of things that disrupted it, again, really was what ended up hurting both these teams. With that said, though, again, hope you guys like the renaming of this series being NFL Highlight. But anyway, outside of that, yeah, Jalen Carter, you're a freaking idiot. I don't want to talk about that. I'm not wasting time on people that aren't very bright, at least in that sort of manner. But that's all I got for you guys here. And get ready for the YouTube game. Yeah, you'll see the recap for that tomorrow. And then on Sunday, well, that's when the crazy things start.
Up into the air, into the end zone, and incomplete. Lazard had a shot.